Imagine waking up, putting on all your gear, and then just going out and running a 5K.
Right, which is, a lot for most people anyway.
Exactly. But you're not running on a track. You are pulling yourself through this turbulent, like really heavy ocean, just fighting against currents and chop.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And here is the kicker, right? That grueling, exhausting 30-minute physical gauntlet, that isn't even the main event.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's just what you have to do to reach the starting line of your actual vacation.
Man, that
No.
completely shatters our modern expectation of what a getaway is supposed to be, I mean.
Right.
Because we live in this era where travel is essentially built on just, like, removing friction.
Oh, total.
You want the app to handle your bags. You want the car service waiting at the curb.
Yeah.
You basically want zero physical barriers between
Yeah.
you and, like, a lounge chair.
Yeah, a lounge chair and a drink.
Yeah.
But today, we are looking at a travel journal that proves the most unforgettable places on Earth might actually be the ones that actively demand something from you. So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are unpacking this incredibly intimate travel journal. And it's accompanied by these 23 vivid, like completely unposed photographs.
They're gorgeous photos, really.
They really are. And they're all documenting a very specific surfing journey to Bali.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission today is to figure out what transforms a location from just, a one-time tourist stop into an absolute lifelong obsession.
Because the author didn't just go once.
Exactly. They went back 4 separate times, and they kept bringing different members of their surf club with them, too.
Yeah, which says a lot.
Right. So we are breaking down the anatomy of an authentic, locally grounded travel experience. Okay, let's unpack this. And to do that, we really have to look at the massive geographical paradox of Kuta Beach.
It really is a paradox, honestly, because Kuta Beach, at least on land, is the absolute definition of convenience.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at the geography, it is located right next to Ngurah International Airport. I mean, you can practically walk from baggage claim straight to your accommodation.
Which, if you think about world-class surfing, that is incredibly rare.
Right.
Usually, to find these untouched, powerful waves, you are taking, like, a tiny puddle jumper plane to some dirt strip.
Oh, for sure. Or a sketchy boat ride.
Yeah. And then hiring a guide with a beat-up 4x4 and just driving for 6 hours through dense jungle.
Exactly.
But here, you literally touch down, grab your bags, and you can stay right there. You save a ton of money. Plus, it's this perfect strategic hub.
Right. The text mentions that.
Yeah, it highlights how easy it is to travel south from Kuta to reach these legendary, almost mythical surf spots. Places like Uluwatu, Padang Padang, and Bingin Beach.
So you basically have the ultimate frictionless base camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheap, it's super accessible, and you're surrounded by all this infrastructure. But the moment you look out at Kuta Reef, which is the actual surf break sitting offshore, that convenience just vanishes entirely.
Oh, completely. And the photos in this journal capture that shift so well.
You really do.
Like, if you're picturing a gentle, rolling wave that's, perfect for a foam longboard, just erase that from your mind.
Yeah, that's not what this is.
Not at all. These action shots show massive, powerful, dark green swells. The ocean just looks heavy, It looks like it has a real temper.
Absolutely.
You see a surfer in an orange top, another in a white top, with blue shorts, and they are taking these incredibly steep drops, just carving up the Indian Ocean.
It's intense.
And there's this one visceral point of view photo. It's looking straight down at a bright green surfboard with this distinct palm tree logo, and it's just gliding through this churning, aggressive white water. You look at these images and you realize the ocean here has massive consequences.
Right, and that consequence brings us right back to your opening thought. The whole, the 5K run through the ocean.
Yes, the paddle.
Exactly, because the author explicitly notes that to ride those specific waves, you have to paddle for 30 minutes from the sandy shore just to reach the reef where the waves are breaking.
Okay, wait, I have to push back on this a little bit.
Yeah.
If you have perfectly good, easily accessible waves crashing right there on the sand, right where everyone else is having fun, why on earth would you bypass them for 30 minutes of sheer physical punishment?
I get that.
Because honestly, it sounds a bit like gatekeeping. Like it's an elitist thing to say you only earn your spot on the wave if you're willing to endure physical misery on your vacation.
Well, it's easy to view it as gatekeeping from the outside. I mean, that's a natural reaction.
Right.
But it's actually a vital natural filter.
The filter? How so?
You have to understand what is sitting underneath those dark green swells. Kuta Reef is a coral reef break.
Okay.
This isn't the forgiving sandy bottom where you can just, stand up if you lose your balance. Coral is essentially a living structure of razor blades.
Oh, wow. So the stakes are entirely different.
Completely different. If you fall wrong on a shallow reef, you aren't just getting dunked underwater. You are risking severe lacerations or, honestly, much worse.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, so because of that, Kuta Reef is absolutely not for beginners. The text is very clear that you need a minimum of an intermediate ability to even be out there safely.
Right.
You have to be able to read really complex ocean conditions, understand how the tide affects the water depth over the coral, and just know the specific reef safety protocols.
Okay, so how does a 30-minute paddle act as a filter for that, though?
Well, think about human nature.
Oh.
If those world-class hollow reef waves were breaking 50 feet from the sand, every overconfident tourist who just rented a board for the first time would paddle out.
Oh, yeah, they totally would.
They'd be completely unaware of the danger underneath them.
Yeah.
It would be chaotic and incredibly dangerous.
I see.
So that exhausting 30-minute paddle acts as a physical toll. By the time you reach the lineup, which is, the specific zone out in the water where surfers queue up to catch a wave.
Right, the lineup.
Yeah, by the time you get there, only the dedicated remain. Everyone sitting in that lineup has literally earned their spot through sweat, and they possess the stamina and the skill to actually be there.
That makes so much more sense.
It naturally creates this deep, shared respect among the people who actually make it out.
Okay, so it's not artificial elitism at all. It's really the ocean demanding a cover charge to keep you safe from yourself.
Exactly.
But that immediately brings up another problem. So you've survived this exhausting 30-minute paddle, right? And now you are sitting out in the middle of the ocean over razor-sharp coral. You can't just wing this. If you misread the current or the tide, you're literally going to the hospital.
Yeah, you are.
So you are entirely dependent on someone who actually understands the water's temperament.
You are. You cannot just drop into a complex foreign ecosystem and master it solo. And this is exactly where the journal shifts its focus from the physical geography of Kuta to the actual people who act as the gatekeepers of that geography. Specifically, the author introduces us to this incredible local female surf instructor named Bali Nyomanstar.
And Nyomanstar seems to be like the absolute anchor of this entire experience.
She really does.
The text notes that she teaches everyone, from total beginners just trying to catch a tiny ripple on the safe sandy beach, all the way up to those advanced surfers tackling the outer reef.
Yeah.
But if I'm an intermediate surfer and I already know the mechanics of how to stand on a board and carve a wave, why do I need a local guide? Like, what is she providing that I don't already have?
He provides the translation of the environment.
Translation.
Yeah, the author highlights a really crucial detail about Nyomanstar. Her expertise is not just athletic. She didn't, learn the ocean by taking a weekend coaching certification at some luxury resort.
Right.
Her connection to this specific body of water is generational and is deeply tied to Balinese traditions. Her father was a fisherman, and she herself actually still fishes from traditional local boats.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because you can actually see that lived reality in the photographs.
Yes, you can.
There's this fantastic, completely unposed picture of her smiling, holding up a fresh fish she just caught. It's hanging from a line with this heavy sinker.
I love that photo.
Me too. And then there's another photo where she's sitting calmly on a traditional outrigger boat, wearing a billabong shirt, and just looking out over this stunning golden Bali sunset. I mean, it doesn't look like a hobby. It looks like a way of life.
Right. What's fascinating here is we have to really unpack the difference between recreational knowledge and indigenous generational knowledge.
Okay, lay that out for us.
Well, in the West, we often treat sports in a vacuum, right? Like a tennis coach knows the biomechanics of a perfect tennis swing.
Sure.
But they don't necessarily know the biological ecosystem of the grass court they're standing on. They don't need to.
That's a great point.
But when your family's livelihood, like your literal survival, depends on fishing the Indian Ocean, you learn to look at the water in a profoundly different way.
So how does a fisherman look at the water differently than a surf coach?
A sports coach looks at a wave and basically sees a geometric ramp for a surfboard.
Right.
A fisherman looks at that exact same water and sees a map of hidden currents. They see subtle shifts in the wind that indicate like a storm miles offshore.
Oh, wow.
They feel the specific granular tidal pulls over the coral that dictate where the fish are hiding, which, by the way, also dictates where the water is dangerously shallow.
Man, that's so nuanced.
It is. That kind of multidimensional understanding isn't learned in a classroom. It is inherited through generations, and it is lived every single day.
So when an international visitor paddles out with Nyomanstar, she isn't really just teaching them how to position their feet on the fiberglass. She is literally teaching them how to survive the Indian Ocean.
Precisely. She is bridging the gap between a tourist's ambition and the terrifying raw reality of the reef. Elite instruction at a place like Kuta Reef requires an intimacy with the environment that visitors simply do not have.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
By relying on her, you are tapping into a profound lineage of respect for nature.
It's like having an interpreter for the forces of nature.
Exactly.
And thinking about that dynamic really makes you realize something fascinating about surf trips, or really any highly specialized travel. Actually riding the wave, like the few seconds you spend standing on the board before you kick out or fall, is maybe 5% of your day.
Oh, yeah. It is a tiny, fleeting fraction of the overall experience, which naturally raises the obvious question, what is happening during the other 95% of the time?
And that is exactly where the soul of this travel journal really lives. If you only focus on the adrenaline, you totally miss the actual lifestyle.
You do.
The author captures this so beautifully in the photography. Instead of just endless action shots, we get a rich, textured look at all the in-between moments. And I don't just want to list them off because the specific details in these photos say so much about the collision of cultures here.
Let's explore a few of them. What really stands out to you?
Okay, so there's one photo of a surfer walking away from the camera. They are wearing a black billabong shirt, totally barefoot, walking down this dusty, unpaved dirt path that looks very rural. But tucked under their arm is this vibrant, hot pink skateboard.
Oh, I remember that one.
Right. The juxtaposition of this loud, modern, almost urban piece of neon sports equipment against the quiet, ancient dirt path of Bali just perfectly captures the vibe. It's just so unhurried.
It shows an environment where the pace of life isn't dictated by a commute or a clock.
Exactly.
The text mentions morning jogs at sunrise, just breathing in the warm ocean air. You see someone carrying a skateboard down a dirt path, or there's another photo of someone riding a bright red bicycle along the beach.
Oh, I loved the red bicycle one.
Right. You are seeing a microculture that has completely surrendered to the rhythm of the place.
Absolutely. And there is another image that really hammers home that sense of presence. It's a shot of someone wearing a white cutoff shirt that says Self-Love Beach. They are carrying this incredibly colorful, beautifully designed surfboard. But they aren't rushing to the water. They have stopped completely in the middle of their walk just to affectionately look down at this scruffy local brown dog sitting on the pavement.
That is such a telling detail, isn't it?
It really is.
Because when we are optimizing our vacations, running from the museum to the dinner reservation to the guided excursion, we get tunnel vision.
We totally do.
We don't stop for the local dog.
Yeah.
Taking the time for that interaction shows that the visitor isn't just treating the location as a playground. They are actively existing within the community.
You see that holistic rhythm everywhere in this journal. There's a photographer sitting on a piece of driftwood in the sand, and their face is totally obscured by a big Canon camera. But they're wearing this green NY baseball cap.
Right, bringing New York to Bali.
Exactly. And then the journey clearly pushes beyond the shoreline, too. We see this awe-inspiring photo of a person standing barefoot at the base of a massive, multi-tiered waterfall, just staring up at the rushing water, completely dwarfed by nature.
That shot is breathtaking.
It is. And later, there's a shot of someone enjoying a super calm, glassy, stand-up paddleboard session over crystal clear water with friends. It's not just about conquering the dangerous reef, it's about exploring the quiet edges of the island.
Right. And if we pull back and look at how all these moments connect, it becomes really clear that this journal is documenting a synthesis.
The synthesis.
Yeah, it's a unique blending of local Balinese tradition and international surf culture. And you can actually see that synthesis codified in the branding and the logos that constantly pop up in the photos.
Yes, the logos are everywhere, and they are so specific.
They really are.
Like, we see shirts proudly displaying Kuta Reef Surf Club.
Yeah.
There's the self-surf logo where the cresting wave elegantly forms the shape of a heart. And then there's a logo that really caught my eye. NYC Surf Bali, accompanied by a little palm tree.
NYC Surf Bali is literally the perfect encapsulation of what is happening here.
It really is.
It bridges two completely opposing worlds. You have the hyper-urban, frantic, concrete energy of New York City directly colliding with the ancient, rhythmic, tidal pulse of Bali.
But it's more than just a clever t-shirt design, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Like when you think about what it actually takes to get to that point, the 30-minute paddle, the heavy reliance on Nyomanstar's fishing knowledge, the downtime with the local dogs, wearing that logo feels like something much deeper than just buying a souvenir from a gift shop.
It is entirely different.
Right.
Because buying a t-shirt at a resort gift shop basically just says, I spent money here.
Right.
Wearing that NYC Surf Bali or Kuta Reef Surf Club shirt is more like a secret handshake.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
A secret handshake.
It signals to a stranger, whether you are in a coffee shop in Brooklyn or an airport in Tokyo, that you both know exactly what it feels like to sweat through that paddle.
Oh, yeah.
It means you both understand the real fear of the coral reef and the relief of that quiet red bicycle ride afterward. It's a badge of belonging to a very specific, hard-earned microculture.
It's shared survival, essentially.
Exactly.
You wear it to show you've bled a little bit on that specific coral, and you've eaten the same fish caught by the same local guide. The friendships forged while waiting for a terrifying wave, the shared humility of being overpowered by the ocean, that is the glue that makes a destination permanent in your mind.
Which brings us right back to the core mission of this deep dive.
Right. Why do they keep going back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We wanted to know what transforms a simple travel destination into a lifelong passion. Why does this author keep returning, bringing new people year after year?
Because the friction is the feature, not the bug.
Mm-hmm.
When you combine the grueling physical demand of reaching the waves with the deep generational wisdom required to survive them, and then you pad that out with quiet, barefoot moments by a waterfall, you get a blueprint for something profound.
You really do.
It's exactly why the author insists that places like Kuta Reef become, as they put it, part of your life story.
And this is where we have to turn it over to you, listening right now.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to own a surfboard. And you certainly don't need to have any desire to paddle out over razor-sharp coral to apply the core of this experience to your own life.
Definitely not.
The question you need to ask yourself is, what is your Kuta Reef?
I love that framing. But what does that actually look like for someone who isn't a surfer?
Well, it looks like any pursuit that demands a difficult paddle out.
Okay.
What is the thing in your life that requires you to put in real, unglamorous effort? What forces you to face a little bit of fear or physical discomfort or just a really steep learning curve, but ultimately immerses you in a rich, deeply connected community?
That's a great way to look at it.
Because the most rewarding experiences we have are almost never the ones that are handed to us with a cocktail on a silver platter. They're the ones that demand our respect, our dedication, and our humility.
Because if it's easy for everyone, it doesn't build a community. It just builds a crowd.
Precisely. And I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. Building on everything we've explored today about convenience versus effort.
All right, let's hear it.
We live in a modern world where virtually every single travel destination is mapped, reviewed, and completely optimized by smartphone apps.
Oh, yeah. Yelp, TripAdvisor, all of it.
Right. We can curate our experiences to completely eliminate all uncertainty and all friction. But looking at the profound, life-altering connection the author found in Bali, we have to ask a really difficult question about modern life.
Which is?
Is the ultimate luxury actually finding an experience that can't be optimized?
Oh, wow.
Is true luxury finding a place that still forces us to put down our screens, face the raw elements, and rely entirely on the ancient generational wisdom of the locals who actually call it home?
That is a brilliant question because, maybe the best places in the world aren't the ones that cater to us. Maybe they are the ones that refuse to make it easy for us.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of the Kuta Reef Travel Journal. We hope this inspires you to look for the friction in your own life, embrace that difficult paddle out, and keep seeking out your own deep dives. Catch you next time.